Hey guys, this is an update video about the Mizuno Wave Rebellion Pro Low. Finally got in some proper runs, not just the quick test runs that I did do this prior. I did fast workouts, a 25-kilometer race, which I barely prepared for, but I've been saving this one for special occasions. So as for now, it's only at 60 kilometers of mileage. I covered this shoe in a video when I bought it, but I will go over some points again and talk more about it because this is one hell of a shoe. It's less aggressive than the Wave Rebellion Pro 3, has the same DNA, still not ideal for heel strikers, but manageable, or a better word is tolerable. Let's start first with the fit and sizing, which I did cover in the first video, but I'll do it again here. This runs slightly short, not quite half a size, more like a quarter size, if that's a thing. My US 10 feels like a 9.75, again, if that's a thing. It's in between a 10 and 9.5, so sizing up would have been too long, and the width is already very accommodating. There was no need for me to go up a size in this shoe. Still had enough space from the tip of my toes to the edge here. Now, while the toe room is wide enough, it narrows down to the midfoot, which is preferable for a race shoe to give you that sense of security. Volume wise, I said the toe box has enough room, so sizing up would have been too roomy for me and not have given me a proper race fit. Same thing with the Adidas Adios Pro 4. When sizing up, it felt insecure and my usual size was just too short, especially here on the taper. If you usually wear 2E, the 4-foot width will be fine, but if your width comes from the midfoot, you might have some squeeze and there'll be some overspill besides. As for the stability and ride, the 4-foot base is a bit wider. It offers some slight correction if you land off center. It's not an immediate correction, but it's soft. You can feel that absorption from the initial impact. Overall, it's not the most stable. Sharp turns, I had to slow down. It's very fast on straightaways and not sloppy. The heel is soft and narrow, but no real guidance like on a daily trainer. The heel bevel starts late. You feel it when walking. If you lay back a bit more, it's not aggressive as the Wave Rebellion Pro 3, but it's similar in how it engages. Some would say the Pro 3 isn't ideal for heel strikers. Heel striking is fine for me, but that was on easy runs or on warm-ups, not really in race pace. When you're in a race and you're pushing yourself, you really need to lock in your form. When I heel strike heavily, that was during when my form broke down. The softness and instability adds up and actually leads to some very sore ankles. Also, what I noticed is that when I was locked into my form, this actually made me pronate a bit more, or my foot was landing a bit more inward. You can adjust it though, and it's not actually that hard or unsustainable, since I found that you don't really need too much adjustment. Like I said, you really need to mind your form and maybe try to make sure you don't have weak ankles. I also noticed that even if you have some strengthening and mobility training, you might still face this issue because this shoe just pushes you to go harder, even more so with the much aggressive Wave Rebellion Pro 3. If you're not minding your pace and just going by feel and effort, you're actually going on a very fast pace. I noticed a low heart rate and a faster pace while running in this, so even with stronger legs, you might experience some soreness because you might not notice that you're pushing a bit harder. Unless if you're strict with your pacing, then maybe the soreness will be less. The longer duration and compensation from that pronation, the less guidance from the heel, it'll all just add up. And unless you're the 2.5-hour marathoner that this shoe is made for, that long duration and compensation again adds up. You might really get some soreness in the ankles. So in short, if you're not trained to hold that form, this shoe will punish you, and more so with the Wave Rebellion Pro 3. Now, aside from the slight negatives to what I like about this shoe, it's really soft, has great compression, snappy decompression leading to a very good turnover. Even with that squish in the medial side, you don't really notice it at first, just a good decompression and bounce to it. Then it leads to a very good toe off. This shoe is quite springy. You might not quite feel that good roll at first because of the springiness, but since you're being tipped forward in this a bit, way more in the Wave Rebellion Pro 3, this does roll you smoothly after that initial squish and bounce. What I really mean is that it's bouncy and springy, but not in a trampoline kind of way. It still has that smooth, slightly controlled bounce to give you a good roll rather than a slappy pop off the ground like some other race shoes. And those race shoes tend to rely on a aggressive rocker to do that. Also, for how soft this has a very good response. Shouldn't be a surprise since this is a race shoe. Cruising at my half marathon pace felt effortless. Again, you can go at a faster pace in this with a lower effort, but you still need to mind your pace. You might end up going a bit too fast. So I hope it makes sense that the shoe's natural turnover helps you move faster without needing to push the ground harder. It feels efficient. The shoe is doing part of the work for you. You're not forcing propulsion. Instead, the smooth and the quick turnover make it feel like the shoe is propelling you forward. Since you can go faster because of it, it leads to what I said, that the shoe pushing you harder. So again, it's really soft, almost like the Adios Pro 4 to an extent, where the Adidas actually is more compliant and sinks in more. Somehow this firms up a tiny bit when picking up the pace, which is good because it still gives a soft and smooth sensation but doesn't really bottom out. Also, there's a part here in the bevel that shoots up to your midfoot when walking but goes away when you run, even on easy paces. Speaking of easy, I did some warm-ups and warm-downs in this, and those easy quick runs when I newly bought this. It was fine not really locked into my form as I didn't really exceed an hour in those runs. Recovery paces are surprisingly good. Again, I didn't exceed over an hour. Feels protective from its cushioning, and that rolling guidance from the plate aids you, yet it's unnecessary mileage to add to a very pricey shoe, so I'm sticking to races for this one. But if you want to, I guess you could. Like I said, a bit too much time even in slower paces like an LSD run, it might bother you with that instability, especially if you pronate a bit more. This will exaggerate that pronation, especially with weaker ankles. So this shoe pretty much reminded me to get back on track and train more for the late stages, because a race will always find a way to hurt you one way or another. We just train to push through it. While I would also like to say that it's not the shoe, it's you, because the shoe doesn't run by itself. It might not really apply here. There's a bit of blame on the shoe for punishing you as payment for getting your PR. And also, while it doesn't run by itself, it really is helping you by taking some of that load and effort so you can push a bit harder if you really want to push the pace. Even though this shoe is built for runners chasing a sub 2-hour 30 marathon, it doesn't mean slower folks can't use this shoe. I just wanted to know the sweet spot. Could it be a 3-hour 40-minute marathoner looking to break less than that, or maybe barely achieving sub 4 hours? I want to see how this will do, because honestly, at a pacing of 5 minutes 30 seconds or maybe even 6 minutes per kilometer, it's not really quite needed. It's totally fine to use a more cushioned shoe, like an up-tempo one that's not heavy. But if you feel like you're already there and want to keep breaking PRs, maybe this could be it. Anyway, are you someone attempting for a sub 2-hour 30 marathon, or far from that time but still want a race shoe when you want to push harder? Maybe this is it. Remember, keep running, stay fit, and be kind.